It happens in a fraction of a second. A quiet road, no streetlights, trees standing like black walls on both sides. Your headlights cut a narrow tunnel through the darkness and then something moves. Not fast, not loud, just a shadow stepping forward. By the time your brain understands what your eyes are seeing, it's already too late. Metal screams, glass explodes, and the night remembers another accident. This is not a rare story in Finland. It is a routine one. Every year, tens of thousands of drivers face the same invisible threat. Deer emerging from forests during the longest, darkest months of winter. Roads disappear into shadow for most of the day. Animals move freely, and a single second of delayed reaction can change everything. But somewhere in the Finnish countryside, a strange glow began to appear at night. Drivers started noticing something impossible to ignore. Two floating points of light. Not headlights, not reflectors on a sign. Antlers. Glowing antlers. This is the story of how Finland experimented with turning deer themselves into warning signals and why something so simple may save lives. In Finland, darkness isn't just a time of day, it's a season. For months, the sun barely rises. Snow absorbs sound. Forests swallow light. Roads wind through wilderness where animals outnumber people. Deer, moose, and reindeer move across highways that cut straight through their habitats. And deer are not small animals. An adult deer can weigh over 200 kilograms. When a car hits one at highway speed, the impact doesn't just damage the vehicle, it sends the animal crashing through windshields, roofs, and into the cabin. These crashes cause serious injuries, fatalities, and millions in damage every year. Traditional solutions exist. Warning signs, speed limits, tall fences along highways, wildlife crossings. But fences are expensive and incomplete. Signs fade into the background, and animals don't follow human rules. So Finnish farmers and wildlife managers asked a different question. What if drivers could see the animal sooner? Not after it steps into the road, not when it's already too close, but before. The idea was almost absurd in its simplicity. Reflective paint, the same type used on road signs and safety vests, applied to deer antlers. The goal wasn't decoration. It wasn't to mark territory. It wasn't to track animals.
It was visibility. Antlers are tall. They rise above grass, bushes, and snowbanks. They move before the body steps onto the road. If those antlers could reflect light, just like lane markings, drivers might recognize danger earlier. And earlier means survival. The first trials were small and local. Farmers worked alongside wildlife managers during routine tagging and monitoring. A harmless, reflective coating was carefully applied to antlers. The animals were then released back into their environment. No cages, no trackers, no barriers, just light. When headlights struck the painted antlers at night, something remarkable happened. They glowed, not faintly, not subtly. They flared back at the driver like a warning beacon. Drivers reported seeing the glow seconds before the animal entered the road. That small window, sometimes just 2 or 3 extra seconds, was enough to brake, slow down, or stop completely. And those seconds mattered. On poorly lit rural roads, surrounded by dense forest, the glowing antlers stood out sharply against the darkness. Even when the deer's body blended into the shadows, the antlers announced its presence. Something is here. Something is moving. Something is alive. The human brain reacts faster to light than shape, faster to contrast and detail. The glowing antlers triggered instinct before logic. Brake. Slow down. Pay attention. Early observations showed fewer close calls in trial areas. Drivers were more alert. Near misses decreased. And in some zones, collisions dropped noticeably, though the trials were too limited to declare nationwide success. Still, the message was clear. Sometimes innovation doesn't require massive infrastructure. Sometimes it requires a paintbrush. Of course, the idea raised questions. Was it safe for the animals? Would the paint affect behavior? Could it attract predators? Would it wear off naturally? Researchers monitored the deer closely. The paint was designed to be non-toxic and temporary. It didn't weigh the antlers down. It didn't restrict movement. And it didn't appear to change how the animals interacted with their environment. The deer didn't know they were glowing. They just kept being deer. That's what made the idea powerful. It didn't fight nature. It worked with it. Unlike fences that block migration routes, or warning systems that rely on human attention, this solution traveled with the animal itself. Where the deer went, the warning followed. But Finland never claimed this was a perfect solution. Authorities were careful. This wasn't rolled out nationwide. It wasn't a replacement for crossings or speed limits. It was an experiment, a reminder that creativity can exist even in the most serious problems. Because road safety isn't just about drivers, it's about coexistence. Humans built roads through forests. Animals didn't ask for them. Every collision is a reminder of that shared space.